Ciao, my friends. I hope life is going great to all of you. And here today we are going to review, it's more of a consumer advice today, I think. It's a comparison between three tiny but beautiful knives. This video is born out of a question made by one of you to a previous video that I made about the micro sepia, which is this one. And he was suggesting to compare it with the Spyderco Squarehead or Spyderco DRAGOTAC. I mean, it is questionable whether those are better than this one in terms of design. I still prefer the micro sepia as a design. For sure, the steel that is used in those two blades, in the Spyderco blades, is much better than the N690, but the price tag that you have to pay for those two is much higher than these. So though that comment sparked the idea of reviewing the micro sepia, the video of the previous review of this one, I will put it in the link below, and compare the micro sepia to other two tiny knives that I actually like in terms of design. And we will compare them. I used both the micro sepia and the other two for many days, and I think I can give you my perspective on this. The video that I'm doing right now is showing you these knives, but is gonna give you even the perspective of someone who is using knives probably in a different way from you. I mean, these can be regarded as more gentleman's knives, and although I wouldn't describe myself as a gentleman, but I think I fall into that category. These knives cannot be used for hard work, but I think that these are very simple to use and to carry, especially in Europe, where the laws is much more restrictive than in the US. So I find myself always carrying these kind of knives much more than others. But of course, there is a difference from a full-size knife. The reason why I love these knives is starting from their design. They are all designed by really accomplished makers, I mean designers, and I think that they are different, of course, but they all have their beauty in it. Going back quickly to the price, they all are more or less in the same category. This one, here, at least here in Europe, comes at around 60 euro, or a little bit less than that, 59, if I remember correctly. This one, again, is the Boker SUBCOM, and we will see more about it later on. And this one is at around 60 euro. And this one, it's the one that is cheaper. This one is the Fox Knives by Bastinelli. The design is by Bastinelli. And this one comes at around 50 euro. A little bit more than 50 euro. But anyway, they are more or less in that category of sub 60 or around 60, 50 euro. You can find them even cheaper if you're lucky to have discounts. So the micro sepia is the one that I reviewed before, and I show you here. It's a friction slash lock folder with this kind of mechanism. And I can tell you just a little bit more from the previous review by using it more frequently. I used it mainly as a money clip. It's perfect for that. And occasionally I used it to cut through small things of plastic and cardboard. And I think it is perfect for that. Some of you on Facebook suggested that maybe I should have said a little bit more about ergonomics, and I think you're right. I actually like it. The only downside, I mean, it is very comfortable, although it's small, and as you can see, not all fingers get into the handle when you are grabbing it, but it feels sturdy in the hands for what is intended for. I mean, you can use it for small tasks, and especially if you use it for opening boxes, cutting through light material, and things like that. The thing that I can tell you a little bit more from the previous review is, by using it, is a little bit about the mechanism. It didn't happen to me in the pocket, but I noticed that you might put it in the pocket and inadvertently open it at least a little bit, because here the mechanism, if you can see, is the lock position in the closed position is assured by this kind of little dent in the mechanism, and it is good enough. But if you put it in this way in the pocket, it tends to open. As I was telling you this, I used it mainly as a money clip, so I didn't use it as with this one into the pocket, which actually could be nice because you can carry it quite deep into the pocket. So this one, I really like it, and I describe it as the best DDC ever. Maybe it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it is really something I really love. I didn't say that just to make a bold claim, but it is because I really like it. And maybe, even from other reviews that you have seen in my channel, I am more inclined into the design of things more than the usefulness. So I mean, now I'm going to say something that you might not agree with, but basically the form comes before than the function, and in this case the form is absolutely stunning. And as we will review, even the form is actually helping in the function of this knife. But just quickly, if you can see, there is a lot going on here. The holes here, this fuller, tiny fuller here. So there is a lot of work that is done into this knife, and it makes this little toy tool extremely appealing to the eyes. So this one is the micro sepia, but let's go and have a look at this other knife. This is the Boker SUBCOM. It's not a new one, although now they have released a different handle material. I think it's micarta, so the newer version has different handle. But right from here, you can see it is worked a lot through all the handle, which is something very nice, I think. The overall shape is a squared, and then when you open it, it's a thumb opener. It is really nice. As thumb thud, you can use just one hand, although you can use it probably easier in this way. As if you can see, if you can hear more than see, there is a nice detent, and there is a lock system, which is a frame lock at the end to keep it open. And this is very good, actually. Is more, almost 50%, let's say 50%, I would say. It's locked in place, and it makes, I think, the overall feeling of this blade very good in terms of hardness of the overall materials that are used. Quickly, the steel is not going to be a major factor between the three different knives because they're all very similar. These two are coming with exactly the same steel, which is the N690. This one is with the D2 steel, which in terms of properties is very similar to the other one. The handle is a Zytel. A Zytel handle is a plastic, very similar to nylon. I had to have a look at it. I mean, I didn't know about that. And as you can see, it's part that and it's part steel. The ergonomics of this one are good with the jimping here all the way through, and the way it feels into the hand is very good, actually. It gives you the feeling of being secure in terms of not closing into your hand if you have to work hard with this one. And the blade is a drop, straight line here. I mean, you can see it, and curvy here. So it's pointy, which might be beneficial for some tasks. But if you use it for cardboard, I think that we will see probably the shape of this one is not the best. I've used it, as I was telling you, or even this one as a money clip. The clip here is not that deep, but I don't think it matters that much in this kind of tiny knives. But it is reversible. From here, you can move it here, although this knife doesn't come with the tool to do that. And the tool that I have here and I used here, it was actually coming with this knife. This we will see then which one is better than the other in terms of overall usefulness. And then the third one is the Fox BB DragonTAC, which is designed by Bastinelli. I forgot to tell you the dimensions, but we were going to have a look at it in a short time. So this one is a perfect, I mean, absolutely only a friction folder. There is no lock mechanism of any kind, and is probably very comparable in terms of size and dimensions of the micro SEPIA. It did come a little bit with the loose mechanism, but thanks to the tool that was inside of the box, I could make it a little bit harder by screwing a little bit more this screw. And at the moment, I think it is good enough in terms of feeling the secure in your hand. Although, as you just saw right now, there is the possibility, if you use it hard, to have it close in this way. And they advertise this knife as being more secure, or secure as much as with a lock system, because you can press into this almost Igonokami mechanism. But actually, it is not exactly in the place where the G-pin is. So the G-pin is here, and you should hold it like this, and makes it a little bit less comfortable to hold it than the other two. So the other big difference is that this one doesn't have a clip. So this one should go just straight into your pocket, and being with this thing hanging out, which is some kind of Igonokami design, it comes with a leather pouch that you can use. Actually, it is beautiful, but less useful than the other two. This one for sure cannot be used as a money clip, for instance. So, reviewing these three, remember, I mean, keep in mind that this is my opinion, and it comes out from what I use them for. Especially, I use them for small tasks. And as the main reason why I chose this was because I needed something for money. So, as a money clip. So, we have seen in terms of dimensions. Let's have a look. The three of them all together, and I can show you like maybe a more common knife. I think that at least here in Europe, this is really, really common. This is number 8, Opinel number 8, that I did a review recently. As you can see, I mean, they are tiny. Probably in terms of dimensions, I can tilt it a little bit more from above. As you can see, they are tiny, and the bigger one is the Boker for sure. In terms of inches, this is the Boker is 4.5, a little bit more. The overall 4 point something, 0.2, and the SEPIA is 4. The blade here, the cutting part is curvy. It's around 2 inches. This one is 1.7 and this one is 1.6 more or less centimeters. Is around 11.512, 10.8, almost 11, and this one is the same, and this two is 4.4, 3.5. So actually this one is a little bit bigger than the micro sepia. So if your target is to have something with a bigger blade, this one is for sure your choice. However, let's go back to the money clip thing, because these knives can be useful or toys. Let's say that the usefulness is given even by something that is the possibility to use them as a money clip. And this one has a downside. It is very, very hard to have it open the clip. It is very painful. And I tried even to loosen it a little bit in the hope that this was going to have a little bit of leeway here. But it's still very, very, very hard. So even just to put it in the pockets is difficult. So with the money, you have to go this way and work your way around, and then then you finally manage to put them in, and it is good. And I used it this way. This one, as we said, is not doesn't have a clip, so it cannot be used in that way. And this one instead is probably the best one. Is really, really perfect. You see, goes through, and that's it. Even because probably this one is a little bit lighter. This is all steel, okay? So for that, I think that the micro sepia is the best one in terms of money clip. This one cannot be used, and this one is sort of halfway through. And remember that is still even difficult to put in the pocket. Going instead into the use as a knife. Okay, how do we use this as knife? They are micro, they are tiny. So I guess you would open them, use them to open boxes mainly. So what is the shape, the best shape for opening boxes? And I think it's the sheep foot. And this one is probably the best blade for that. Because the sheep foot gives you the possibility to apply pressure on the tip without having the tip coming up and hurting you in case you mishandle the knife. So this one, I think, in terms of shape, is the best one. So in terms of being capable of holding the position with that lock, if you press it this way, is okay-ish, in the sense that it's still okay, but you have to still a little bit be careful a little bit. With this one instead is perfect. This one, in terms of feeling the hand and keeping the position open, is perfect. Although the shape is not a sheep foot, so there might be the possibility of having an accident with the tip. But of course you might say, okay, I'm careful and who cares. This one, as I was showing you before, it can be a little bit dangerous. And remember that I made it a little bit more difficult to open and close by screwing a little bit this one. In terms of what are we going to use them, if you use them in the pocket, okay, these are not big blades, and are not meant to be, although this is a Bastinelli, who is famous for self-defense knives. Let's say that you say, okay, this cannot be used as a first line of defense, if ever a knife can be used in that way. But let's say you say, but I still have it in my pocket if worse comes to worse. can I use it as a self-defense knife? And I would say that these two, this one for sure no. I wouldn't trust it. Although you can slash, you cannot use it as a pointy. I mean, it's totally useless. I mean, you wouldn't use it that way. This one is a Bastinelli knife, and it would be, in terms of shape, would be still okay for this way, but I wouldn't trust it because of this kind of mechanism. You could maybe use it more this way, but I wouldn't trust it. So the only one I think would be this one. Although, of course, you might laugh at it because it's very tiny, the blade, and I wouldn't blame you. But is of the three, if worse comes to worse, is probably the only one that you can use it that way. There is a linear hold here. Maybe this one that I was noticing before, and I didn't say during the review right now. It actually, even with this one and this one, is a nice add to these knives because you can still use it and then leave it and then take it back if you have to do other work while you are working with the knife. So let's have a look at the design. I think that they are very different, as you can see, but they are all beautiful in their own regard. This one is a FRN handle, which is a nylon polymer plus fiberglass, and it feels light and very good in your hand. And I think that the three of them, it's really, I wouldn't say one is more beautiful than the other, although my preference would go still on this one. But from the design point of view, probably it would be just down to personal taste. They are all three, I think, in my opinion, very beautiful. So going back to that, does it hold, going back to what this video was intended for, is this really the best EDC knife out there? A little bit of dirt because I've been using it. I would say still yes. But keep in mind, my way of using it is mainly as a money clip. And so I keep it in my pocket all the time. I mean, this one stays in my pocket constantly. And if I forget in my pocket, even if I go to the bar, I am almost sure that no one would, raise concerns, legal concerns, if I have this one. These two probably the same. So it is one of the reasons why I like this kind of knives. But why is this still the best? Because in terms of handle, overall ergonomics, this one is probably the best of the three. This one is the worst. Between these two, I would say that this one would not. I would not suggest to buy mainly for this reason. Okay, but it's still a beautiful knife to have in a collection. But I would suggest you to go between these two, and I would still choose this one mainly for an aesthetics point of view. I think there is a more overall work on the blade. I like the feeling that it is all steel with the feeling in the hand that the steel is different than this kind of polymers, and it's still anyway useful for what I use it for, which is cutting some cardboards at the time and using it to open more things that are plastic. I used it for that. And this one instead, maybe for those of you who are working in a warehouse, maybe this could be a good pocket knife if you don't want to go for something bigger of this kind. Okay, if you want something bigger, there is no, I mean, there is no comparison, of course. But if you want to stay with something very pockety, if we can call it that way, and still classy and beautiful, I think this one would be maybe your choice. Okay, I've been going a little bit too long, although I would keep going by reviewing this one and the fox knife, going through more into details of the design. But I guess that you would not feel that happy about it. So, in my opinion, of these three, I would say that still the micro sepia is the best one, and probably is even a more collectible kind of knife because it's a limited number release. Having said that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will come back with another video soon. I've been waiting for some knives in the recent days, and they have finally arrived. I think I have something very, very beautiful to show you in the next few days. Having said that, ciao to all of you. A big hug, and see you next time. Ciao!